Hello, my name is Barry Feldman, and I am the owner of Feldman Creative. I have on the phone and the screen with us today Doug Kessler. He's speaking to us from the UK. Hey, Doug.
Hey,
And Doug is the co-founder and creative director of a B2B digital agency called Velocity Partners. Been reading their material for quite some time. I don't know when, but sometime in the course of their content marketing efforts, they discovered SlideShare, as have I, and hopefully you. And recently, Doug wrote with his team and published a piece called Crap. As of today, I don't know if they stopped counting it so many views, but it's been seen close to 200,000 times. The subhead on the cover page of Crap is why the single biggest threat to content marketing is content marketing, and the piece is full of lessons and a little bit of sprinkling of comedy, like everything that comes from Velocity. Doug, can you start off by telling us what gave you the idea, what sparked this story?
sure. I guess the main thing that sparked it was fear, really. We were pretty early into the new wave of content marketing, not the original way back in the old days. I mean, content marketing's been with us forever, but as far as the new kind of digital incarnation, we've been in it for a while. But over the last 12 to 18 months, maybe 2 years, we've seen almost every marketing discipline, so search and social and outbound and lead nurturing, marketing automation, all rushing towards content as the answer. And that really made us think, how is this new content going to affect our clients and the buyers they're targeting? And that made us say, crap, when we really started adding it all up. It was about fear of what's happening here. It's almost like content marketing has been the golden goose for us and for our clients for a while. It's worked, and the fear is going to stop working because everyone's getting into it.
Yeah, there's no denying that. And okay, so you made a slideshow. Now that tends to send shivers down people's spine if what they think of is uh, hunks of data and long bulleted lists and complicated diagrams. But you made a slideshow for SlideShare, and you did that almost by making an ongoing narrative, a couple of lines at a time. We don't have time to give a SlideShare lesson, but tell us why SlideShare was the place where where you published Crap.
Sure. SlideShare is a fantastic medium for linear storytelling. So you can take the reader by the hand, lead them one slide at a time through your story. Um, you know, what most people do is they use SlideShare as a dumping ground of slides they use for something else, usually slides they presented from. And so SlideShare is where decks go to die, or die again. In many cases, it's dying for the second time because they weren't that good the first time.
Yeah, I only had a crowd of
But with,
five
with these
people to bore, and now I have the whole world.
Yeah, exactly. And you just look at these things and think, I'm not going to wade through this. And they were meant to be spoken to anyway. So, for us, SlideShare is its own medium. And to just dump your decks there is a real misuse of the medium. But if you use it right, you're telling a linear story where you can take people along with you. They're not there to browse. They're there to be led through your story. And the primary challenge is on each slide, you have one challenge. Earn the click to the next one. Don't lose them. And I love it as a medium. I think it's terrific, and I think it's really misused that people are just dumping decks there. I think if people start thinking about creating content just for SlideShare, good stuff starts to happen.
Yeah, but the market speaks, and I think the ones that are shared, 20,000 plus times, all the way up to almost a quarter million like yours, are the slide decks that do that, right?
Yeah, definitely. They definitely are. It's very rare that one will trip over that wasn't really made for the medium, I think.
Yeah, so it's almost like, SlideShare is a decent name for that medium because they're slides, but we need to like redefine what's a slide.
Yeah, I think that's true. And, it's probably true that the same things that are good on SlideShare would be better as a live presentation, but we certainly know the reverse is not true. That to engineer something that was made for another purpose and just dump it there is certainly not the way to do it. It's funny because it's true of every medium, and each new medium that comes along, you slowly learn what is this medium best for. So we're just experimenting with Google Plus Hangouts, and we're just starting to see, aha, it's good for this, not good for that. Same with ebooks, same with videos or prezis we like to work with. And each one, it takes you a few goes to start to say, aha, this is what this medium's really great at.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dangerous, I think, to consider SlideShare for anything other than this form of presentation we're speaking about. But you can put video there, and you can put collateral there, and you can put, like decks that deserve to die, like you mentioned, and you can put you can go back later and attach audio. But I think it's fair to say the assumption should be that it's a self-guided tour. That your slideshow should speak for itself.
Yeah, I think so too. We haven't played with the audio ones yet. I think that's a really good use, and I'd love to play with it. I have seen some that are really good, but yeah, I kind of think self-presenter is a really good way to think about it, and you know, and that means you write differently. You want people to take themselves through it. It means not very much per page. There's also a hierarchy on each page. You can't just dump the same kind of 12-point text at them every time, or 80-point text, whatever it is. There's got to be a hierarchy within the page to get them through it. You must lead the eye and lead the reader. And so we do lots of rereading before publishing one to say, is this flowing or is it stopping?
Yeah. Now, to some extent, like you mentioned, it's its own media. It excels in certain things. And I think of it as a library. I tell my clients it's where business people go to do business. They're researching something. But because of the ease of interaction for really any media online, it's also a social media. You can favorite stuff, you can save stuff, you can comment, you can follow the authors, and it looks like you've touched a bit of a nerve there too. You have a really good stream that looks a little bit like it would on a Facebook page.
Yeah, I think that's true. The social media bonus of it is a really big bonus, the community bonus. So we like Prezi. It's a fun tool, but it doesn't have yet that community of sharing. So, you're going to have to drive all that traffic yourself, whereas SlideShare can drive quite a lot of traffic for you. And we got lucky. It got promoted to kind of one of the presentations of the day or of the week or whatever. It got on the home page, and that just made it take off. That was all SlideShare related stuff. I mean, there was a lot of sharing, there was a lot of tweeting and all that, but that community bonus is it's a real bonus. And when clients think Prezi or SlideShare, we always explain that, you won't really get, or some of the other media, you may not get that bump from the community, but with SlideShare, if you hit the seam, you really will.
Yeah, and then for those that are unfamiliar with it, on their home page, I think some combination of humans and robots figure out what's hot and what's not. And so your
Yeah.
leading social media has its features there for typically 24, 48 hours. And then there's a grid of ones that they want to feature. And then there's a trio that are trending, I guess. Those are probably hand selected.
That's right. I think they are. I was trying to figure out, is it an algorithm? I don't think it is, and they're very good about being quiet about it because I think they'd be bombarded with people trying to wheedle their way onto the front page. It is a big bonus.
Yeah, well, they're owned by LinkedIn, and there's a fantastic deck on their homepage today about building your brand on LinkedIn. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's humans involved. Now, I was going to ask you next about the reception to crap, but and I'm going to, of course, make a link to the presentation called Crap, so I don't want you to give it to us. But can you give us like a synopsis so what the questions I ask next will actually make sense to people?
A synopsis, yeah. Basically, it's kind of it's kind of a warning cry that look at all the content that's happening. 9 out of 10 marketers are going to be doing more of it next year than last year, and more the year after that. Social's getting into it. Every discipline is getting into content, so that means we're going to be buried with crap, basically. And the big threat is that it won't work anymore, that people are going to start raising their marketing defense system to keep it out. And the wonderful thing about content marketing is it lowered those defense systems for a little while so you could get in there and have a conversation with someone. So that the danger is that as the mediocre comes in, and it looks exactly like great stuff from the outside until you read it, because people get good at disguising it, essentially. That will all get really dramatically diminishing returns. We're not going to be getting the easy clicks. We're not going to be getting the easy shares or downloads or whatever metrics you're following. And, so the premise here is that the only defense against that erosion that will be coming, if it isn't already, is a great content brand. And that's a brand that tells people if this brand published it, it's going to be worth consuming. And that is kind of immunity to the erosion we're going to see when the deluge hits, or or grows even greater. So really, it's just a plea for that, saying, guys, it's time now to be building these great content brands because it's going to get tougher and tougher soon.
Okay, so it's not crap filter training for the consumer. It's a plea to the marketers.
Definitely, yeah. And I think, we're all consumers too. So part of what sucks about the deluge of crap is that we're going to get it too. And we'll do what anyone will do, which is start to turn it down, start to distrust content that's offered to us. And so we can all relate to that being a problem, I think.
All right, well, it's hard not to notice it has gigantic red letters that say crap, and I saw it. I'm on SlideShare almost every day for one reason or another, usually to analyze how my stuff's doing, but also to research and keep my finger on the pulse of online marketing. So I saw it, and it built a little bit of a snowball, but then it struck like a Russian meteor. I think it was like 100,000 views in week one or day one, and now it's approaching 200,000 views. Why do you think this connected with the viewers the way it did?
Yeah, I mean, it shocked us too, Barry. I got to be honest. I mean, it really was a surprise. It took off. Our next best one was like 6,000 views, and we were thrilled about that. That's now been pulled up to about 13 or 14 based up because of crap, going before it. But why? So we've been asked.
Once you step in it,
Yeah, exactly. The crap spreads. Really, I think it did really well because we stumbled on an issue that was at least in the back of everyone's mind, and we brought it to the front of people's minds. So the responses we tended to get were, "That's exactly what I was thinking." Those kind of responses rather than, "Oh, I hadn't thought of it like that," which some content might elicit. So, clearly this was on people's minds. We didn't invent this issue. We just tapped into this kind of gusher. I think the writing and design did help. I mean, the provocative title helps, but you'll find those qualities in a lot of pieces. I think it was what made this one take off is the underlying issue really, really resonated. And I definitely want to make the point that we didn't know that in advance. We hit the right issue at the right moment. From luck much more than strategy. We're in this market all the time, so the issue was really on our minds, along with a lot of other issues that might have fallen flat. So we picked one that was kind of a burning issue for us. Turned out it was for other people, and I think nothing more than that. I think getting that timely issue, the issue of the moment. So there are a million issues around content marketing. We write about a lot of them, but there are some that are just about now, and I really think that may have been the difference on this one.
Now, I gotta ask, crap's a four-letter word. It's a strong word. You and I both have daughters. If they were to use that word, especially at the dinner table, you'd say, that's not nice. Did you get negative feedback for coming on so strong with the word crap?
No, I was kind of surprised. I mean, for me, it's not a strong word, but I get surprised because, I guess I'm kind of potty-mouthed and don't. And maybe I probably offend people a lot without knowing it. But we did an obscene B2B video recently on Dare. We had to do it. I had to make one, and I think it wasn't shared because it had a lot of swear words in it. So crap could have gone that way. Nobody did say they were offended at all. We definitely got some negative feedback on the whole piece, but it wasn't. Oh, your language offended me. It was more they thought it missed the mark.
Why?
I wasn't too sure. A lot of people just said, "This is crap." And one guy said, "This is crap." And I emailed just to say, "Sorry you didn't like it. You can't win them all." And he emailed back saying, "Look, I was drunk last night. I also got in touch with 3 ex-girlfriends. I didn't mean it. I really liked the piece." So, some people I think are just pissed off at something that gets a bit hypey and that everyone says, "Oh, this is great. This is great." And I get that reaction too a lot. It's like, "Hey, it's not that great." So we got some of that pushback. And I kind of like it. I think social media can be such a Pollyanna place where everyone's congratulating each other all the time. To get somebody to come along and say this sucks is always, it's grounding. It makes you, you'd hate for 90% of your comments to be that, but to get a few, you think, all right, there's some people out there that, at least it touched them to say that anyway. But I don't think there was any language that got people upset this time.
It occurs to me that somebody that comes back to you with dialogue along the lines of crap or this is crap is trying to be as funny as you were.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, someone said, "Oh, you took a 1-sentence idea and made a 30-page slideshow out of it," and that always hurts because I always think that's something a lot of us are guilty of, is taking a little idea and trying to get the most mileage we can. I mean, the fact that it's a 30-page slideshow or whatever it is, is misleading a little bit because, like we said, this was made to be a self-presenter, and it may be 30 pages, but it's really quite a quick, short read. It's not a tome.
Well, I strongly disagree with that take on it. It certainly has a long build-up and problem statement, so that's a fun, swollen part of it. But it also tells you how to create stuff other than crap, so there's lesson involved.
Yeah, I mean, trying to keep that in there. Sometimes it can be all about you've got to go be great, go be great. But there's no, well, how do you make something good into something great? So it's nice to have a little bit of that in there.
Well, welcome to the world of media stardom, Doug. You're going to, get some arrows slung at you, I guess.
Thanks. It's a funny ride. I mean, it was a really fun ride. The whole Velocity really enjoyed this because, people would be yelling out, it's 35,000, and it was fun. But I have to say, I mean, now that it's kind of, we've had this experience, I'm worried that it's going to take the pleasure out of things that don't go quite as viral for us. We should be happy with a few thousand things. We're a small agency in the UK, so the next one, if it gets a couple thousand, I hope we can still be proud of that.
Yeah.
I hope it hasn't spoiled us.
It's like you're Michael Jackson and you just made Thriller. What are you going to do next, Michael?
Maybe not that great, but I mean, it's it's B2B scale viral, which is still quite a small thing, but for us it was a big thing.
Maybe you throw in the towel on your next slideshow, make it crap.
Yeah.
So I imagine a lot of people that don't know as much about SlideShare as you and I and content marketers, or even use it or have heard of it. So I'm interested to know what you learned, as an exit study here on the experience, and what you'd package as advice for somebody who wanted to take their crack at it.
Okay. I guess there's the craft part of it, and I think we all learn about each medium and we craft it up. And this one, we tried to put a lot of craft into it, just as far as the design, and make it tight as it could be, and that's always important. But I guess it really made me want to aim for not just important issues, but really important and timely issues. So it made me want to look for those hot buttons of the moment. Those can only come from being inside the market. So when we create content for our clients, we need to spend some really serious time with the people who are in the market every day. And only then do you just even have a shot at tripping over that important and timely issue that really is going to resonate. I think if you're getting it from an arm's length or a distance, your chances of hitting the issue of the moment go a lot lower. So that was definitely a lesson for us.
And the business implications of it, anything to add there on what you'd tell your clients, or tell somebody who's picking your brains about the use of this media?
Yeah, definitely. I think the business lesson for us, it's crap is kind of the latest example of something has made a really big impact on our business, and it's really psychographic targeting, which is kind of a overblown term for a pretty simple idea of filtering. I mean, the idea is simple. We do our best work at Velocity, and we have the most fun for a certain kind of client, and those are confident, ambitious, creative marketers who really want to do something different. So we really consciously produce content that will attract these kind of marketers, and at the same time will actively alienate the timid and the tired and the traditional. We really are happy if what we're doing turns them off and they're not calling us. And we've been doing this over a period of time, and what's happened really is we start to fill the dance card with fantastic clients that we would kill for, which is so much more fun, so much more rewarding than pulling teeth for pedants. So it's been, for us, that kind of psychographic targeting we're bringing to our clients too, and saying, look, there's a certain kind of client out there who you really want, certain kind of prospect. Write for them and intentionally alienate the ones are going to make you miserable or aren't going to buy it all anyway. And that idea of kind of using content to filter, not just attract everybody, has been a revelation for us, and I think it's something we want to continue with.
I love that you brought that up for this reason. When I play the role of content marketing evangelist, generally on a one-to-one basis, explaining to somebody who's not doing it justice why they should invest more time, effort, and money in content marketing, I'm usually talking about the usual suspects, like building authority and lowering your cost of marketing, and getting seen on Google and getting the the pass along that comes with social media. But a benefit that might be the best one of them all is that you qualify customers. If they're kind of sort of dancing to your tune, you want to dance with that person.
It's totally true, and it's so obvious that it's almost embarrassing. It took me as long in my career as it did to figure it out. But when someone comes and says, "I love that crap SlideShare. Can you do some marketing like that for us?" Instantly, these guys are not just 5 times more likely to be our kind of client. They're 100 times more likely than the ones who are going to trip over your threshold just when you keep your door open. And that's been, as I said, it's been a revelation. And we're loving the kind of people that we're attracting with this stuff, and we're doing it for our clients. So we're finding the same thing can be replicated in any market. I mean, digital marketing agency is a relationship business, so it's especially important you're in tune with your clients. If you're selling widgets, it may be less so, but there's always an optimum client. There is always a client is going to love that widget and is going to give you a lot less hassle and isn't going to knock you down on price, and they're going to value the things you really value as a company. And so if content marketing is just great for that, is getting those values out on the screen so that people who resonate with them will come towards you.
I guess you're a connoisseur of content marketing. You write for a variety of blogs other than your own. Who are some of your favorite content marketers?
Okay. Let's see.
Well, I guess that you could take that to mean like Coke and Pepsi. I mean, who are some of your favorite content marketer evangelists or teachers?
Okay, so I mean, the people we watch a lot are the marketing automation vendors are all very, very good at it. So we keep an eye on them. Silverpop and Marketo and HubSpot are excellent. Eloqua. GE Aviation does some great work. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's this one video. They had a great microsite about aviation and their technology. But there was a video called Paths of Flight, which is absolutely beautiful, and it shows that hardcore content marketing can also be gorgeous, and so they do cool stuff. Adobe makes really good use of this great creative community, and one day they're going to knock on our door. We're really hoping to work for them one day. The two Joes are great. The Polizzi and Chernov really know more about content marketing than I know about my own children. Really, they're excellent, and so I always have time for whatever they're saying. And there's this guy, Barry Feldman, out of California somewhere. I think you should really look up. Who writes circles around most folks. So keep an eye on him.
Who?
Feldman. Feldman Creative or something?
That guy.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks, Doug. And then the Joe thing, for those that don't know, we might be preaching to the choir. We're talking about Joe Polizzi. He founded Content Marketing Institute. Definitely a place you want to subscribe to. And the other Joe?
Joe Chernov, who was the chief marketing officer or content officer at Eloqua for a few years, and really, I think, helped put them on the map. And then now is with a smaller company that targets mobile web developers or mobile app developers or something. I'm sorry, I forget the name. It's like Kinvey or something like that.
Yeah, Kinvey. Yeah, I was actually playing dumb. I saw him speak. I know who he is. And then at Content Marketing World in September in Ohio, I think he was the first or second recipient of their Content Marketer of the Year.
Yeah, he really knows his stuff. And I mean, generally, when I talk about a great content brand, he's got one, because if he's blogging about it, if he's talking about it, it's going to be a good, intelligent insight. And I always have time for that.
Right. All right. Well, I've asked you the questions I came to ask, and I hope the people that are watching, listening, and reading get something from it and learn something from it. It should be easy enough to find you with the stuff that I put online, but go ahead and tell us how to subscribe and read the things that you publish on your site.
Okay. Well, our own website is velocitypartners.co.uk. And really from there you can kind of get a link to everything else. We do have a SlideShare channel, a YouTube channel, and all that. But there's an ideas and insights section, kind of resource library on our site that we try to keep everything up to date there. So thanks for that.
See that guy back there? Hey, you're on camera, Bo. All right. Well, speaking of the UK, it's the witching hour there, right? It's what, 10:30, 10:36?
That's right.
Did I keep you up past your bedtime?
Yeah, I'm going right for the hot milk now.
All right. Well, thanks so much for spending time with me and our viewers today, Doug.
Thank you, Barry. I really enjoyed it. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Take care.